my business. Charity, mercy, forbearance and benevolence were all my business. Hear me. My time is nearly gone.
Well, but don't be hard on me. Don't be flowery, Jacob.
I am here tonight to warn you that you have yet a chance and hope of escaping my fate. A chance and hope of my procuring Ebenezer.
Always good friend to me, thank you.
You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
I think I'd rather not.
Without their visits, you cannot hope to shun the path I tread. Expect the first tomorrow, when the bell tolls 1.
Couldn't I take them all at once and have it over, Jacob?
Expect the second on the next night at the same hour. The third upon the next night, when the last stroke of 12 has ceased to vibrate.
Oh, dear. Oh, Jacob.
Look to see me no more.
Oh, dear. Jacob. Oh.
When it had said these words, the spectre walked backwards from him, and at every step it took, the window raised itself a little,
Oh, dear, bless me.
so that when the spectre reached it, it was wide open. Scrooge became sensible of confused noises in the air. The spectre, after listening for a moment, joined in the mournful dirge, and floated out upon the black, dark night. Scrooge followed to the window, desperate in his curiosity. He looked out. The air was filled with phantoms, wandering hither and thither in restless haste, and moaning as they went. Every one of them wore chains, like Marley's ghost. One old ghost, in a white waistcoat, had a monstrous iron safe attached to its ankle, and cried piteously at being unable to assist a wretched woman with an infant, below, upon a doorstep.
I know that fellow, but I remember, yes, but I know him. I know him, too.
The misery with them all was clearly that they sought to interfere for good in human matters, and had lost the power forever.
Seven, 8. It was past 2 when I went to bed. Why, it's impossible that I could have slept through a whole day and far into another night. It isn't possible that anything's happened to the sun, and this is 12 at noon.
The idea being an alarming one, he scrambled out of bed and groped his way to the window. All that he could make out was that it was still very foggy and extremely cold, and that there was no noise of people running to and fro and making a great stir, as there unquestionably would have been if night had beaten off bright day and taken possession of the world. Scrooge went to bed again, and thought, and thought, and thought it over and over, and could make nothing of it, until he remembered on a sudden that the ghost had warned him of a visitation when the bell tolled 1. He resolved to stay awake until the hour was past.
The hour itself and nothing else. Good gracious.
Scrooge, starting up into a half-recumbent attitude, found himself face to face with the unearthly visitor, who drew near, as close to it as I am now to you. And I am standing in the spirit at your elbow.
Are you the spirit, sir, whose coming was foretold to me?
I am. It was a strange figure, like a child. Yet not so like a child as like an old man, diminished to a child's proportions.
Who and what are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past?
No, your past. Rise and walk with me.
The grasp, though gentle as a woman's hand, was not to be resisted. He rose, but finding that the spirit made towards the window, clasped his robe in supplication.
I am a mortal and liable to fall.
The spirit laid his hand upon his heart.
Bear but a touch of my hand there, and you shall be upheld in more than this.
As the words were spoken, they passed through the wall and stood upon an open country road with fields on either hand.
Good heaven, I was bred in this place. I was a boy here.
He was conscious of 1,000 odours floating in the air, each one connected with 1,000 thoughts and hopes and joys and cares, long, long forgotten.
Your lip is trembling. And what is that upon your cheek?
Oh, no, nonsense. It's a raindrop. Lead on. Lead on.
Do you recollect the way?
I could walk it blindfold.
Some shaggy ponies now were seen trotting towards him with boys upon their backs who called to other boys in country gigs and carts driven by farmers. All these boys were in great spirits and shouted to each other until the broad fields were so full of merry music and the crisp air laughed to hear it.
These are but shadows of the things that have been. They have no consciousness of us.
Scrooge knew them every one. Why was he filled with gladness when he heard them give each other Merry Christmas as they parted at crossroads and byways for their several homes? What was Merry Christmas to Scrooge? Out upon Merry Christmas. What good had it ever done to him?
The school is not quite deserted. A solitary child, neglected by his friends, is left there still.
I know. Yes, I know.
They were now in the busy thoroughfare of a city. It was made plain by the dressing of the shops that here, too, it was Christmas time again. But it was evening and the streets were lighted up. The ghost stopped at a certain warehouse door.
Do you know this place?
Know it? Why, I was apprenticed here. Why, it's old Fezziwig, bless his heart. It's Fezziwig alive again.
Yo, ho there, Ebenezer, Dick.
Scrooge's former self, now grown a young man, came briskly in, accompanied by his fellow apprentice.
Dick Wilkins, to be sure, bless me, yes, there he is. Oh, he's very much attached to me with Dick. Poor Dick, oh dear.
Yo, ho there, boys. No more work tonight. Christmas evening. Christmas, Ebenezer. Let's have the shutters up, eh?
You wouldn't believe how those two fellows went at it. They charged into the street with the shutters, 1, 2, 3, had them up in their places, 4, 5, 6, barred them and pinned them, 7, 8, 9, and came back before you could have got to 12, panting like racehorses.
Hilly-ho, clear away, my lads. Let's have lots of room here, eh? Hilly-ho, Dick. Get him, Ebenezer.
Clear away? There was nothing they wouldn't have cleared away, or couldn't have cleared away with old Fezziwig looking on. In came all the young men and women employed in the business. In came the housemaid with her cousin, the baker. In came the cook with her brother's particular friend, the milkman. In they all came, one after another, some shyly, some boldly, some gracefully, some awkwardly, some pushing, some pulling. In they all came anyhow and everyhow. Away they all went, 20 couples at once, hands half round and back again the other way, down the middle and up again, round and round in various stages of affectionate grouping. Old top couple always turning up in the wrong place, new top couple starting off again as soon as they got there. All top couples at last, and not a bottom one to help them.
Oh, isn't it wonderful? Oh, how he dances, no one better than he. Oh, isn't it glorious? Look at old Fezziwig, just as he was. Oh, I remember him so. And Mrs. Fezziwig too. Oh, what a lovely party.
There were more dances, and there were forfeits, and more dances, and there was cake, and there was negus, and there was a great piece of cold roast, and there was a great piece of cold boiled, and there were mince pies and plenty of beer. When the clock struck 11, this domestic ball broke up.
Oh, dear, 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 dear.
A small matter to make these silly folk so full of gratitude.
Small.
You spent but a few pounds of your mortal money. 3 or 4 pounds.
Oh, it isn't that, Spirit. Happiness is just as great as if it cost a fortune. It's...
What's the matter?
Nothing particular.
Something, I think.
No, it's just that I'd like to be able to say a word or two to my clerk just now. That's all.
His former self turned down the lamps as he gave utterance to the wish, and again Scrooge saw himself. He was older now, a man in the prime of his life. His face had not the harsh and rigid lines of later years, but it had begun to wear the signs of care and avarice. He was not alone, but sat by the side of a fair young girl in a morning dress, in whose eyes there were tears, which sparkled in the light that shone out of the ghost of Christmas past.
It matters little to you. Very little. Another idol has displaced me, and if it can cheer and comfort you in the time to come, as I would have tried to do, I have no just cause to grieve.
What idol has displaced you?
A golden one. Oh, I have seen your nobler aspirations fall off one by one, until the master passion, gain, engrosses you. Have I not?
What then? Even if I have grown so much wiser, what then? I'm not changed towards you, am I?
Your own feelings tell you that you were not what you are. I am. That which promised happiness when we were one in heart is fraught with misery now. How often, how keenly I have thought of this, I will not say. It is enough that I have thought of it, and can release you.
Have I ever sought release?
In words? No, never.
In what, then?
In a changed nature, in an altered spirit, in another atmosphere of life, another hope as its great end.
Belle.
In everything that made my love of any worth or value in your sight. And I release you.
Oh, no.
With a full heart for the love of him you once were. May you be happy in the life you have chosen.
Spirit, show me no more. Conduct me home. Why do you delight to torture me?
One shadow more.
No more, no more. I don't wish to see it. Show me no more.
But the relentless ghost pinioned him in both his arms and forced him to observe what happened next. They were in another scene and place, a room not very large or handsome, but full of comfort. Near to the fire sat a beautiful young girl, so like that last that Scrooge believed it was the same until he saw her, now a comely matron, sitting opposite her daughter. And now Scrooge looked more attentively than ever when the master of the house, having his daughter leaning fondly on him, sat down with her and her mother at his own fireside. And when he thought that such another creature, quite as graceful and full of promise, might have called him father, and been a springtime in the haggard winter of his life, his sight grew very dim indeed.
Well, I saw an old friend of yours this afternoon.
Who was it?
Yes.
Oh, how can I? Oh, I don't know. Mr. Scrooge.
Mr. Scrooge it was.
Oh,
I passed his office window, and as it was not shut up and he had a candle in sight, I could scarcely help seeing him. His partner lies upon the point of death here.
No.
And there he sat alone,
No.
quite alone in all the world.
No, Spirit, remove me from this place.
I told you that these were the shadows of things that have been, that they are what they are. Do not blame me.
Remove me, I cannot bear it.
He turned upon the ghost, and seeing that it looked upon him with a face in which in some strange way there were fragments
No.
of all the faces it had shown him,
No, leave me.
wrestled with.
Leave me, take me back.
Scrooge pressed down with all his force,
Take me back, haunt me no longer.
but he couldn't hide the light which streamed from under it.
No, haunt me, no.